Hello, Ovid-Elsie families. We are going to take a look at the Read by Grade 3 law that was passed in 2016 and explain what that means. So in 2016, the Michigan legislature passed the law that requires schools to identify students who are struggling with reading and writing and then to provide those students with additional help. This law also states that third graders may repeat third grade if they are more than one grade level behind. This began in the 2019-2020 school year. How students are identified as having a reading deficiency in both E.E. Knight and Leonard Elementary, students are given what we call an initial screener. All students in kindergarten through third grade are assessed using Acadians, formerly known as DIBELS. Students are also given an extensive screener. We use NWEA in kindergarten through third grade, and kindergarten through second grade also uses DRA. Students are assessed 3 times per year at the beginning, middle, and end of the year. And if students are identified as having a reading deficiency on these screeners, we progress monitor the students weekly or bi-weekly with Acadians to keep a close eye on their progress. So according to the law, what exactly is qualified as having a reading deficiency? The law defines deficiency as scoring below grade level or determined to be at risk of reading failure based on those assessments we just talked about. Those assessments that we just talked about are given within the first 30 days of school. What happens if your student is flagged as having a reading deficiency? If your student is flagged on the initial and extensive screener as having a reading deficiency or scoring below the grade level expectation, so where students in your child's grade level should be at, then an individualized reading improvement plan will be written for any student who was identified through the assessments that was identified as having a reading concern. These students will remain on an IRIP, an individualized reading improvement plan, for as long as there is a reading concern. These individualized reading improvement plans do begin in kindergarten and can continue through the third grade. Your child will be assessed several times throughout the year to check on progress, and their IRIP will be reflected or updated to reflect the needs based on those assessments given. Part of the Read by Grade 3 law is including a Read at Home plan. In the Read at Home plan, there is a plan for each child. The plan is different for each child based upon their area or areas of deficit that need to be supported. Now, these areas can change based on their progress monitoring or the screeners that are given at the beginning, middle, or end of the year. This Read at Home plan is to support your child to continue to make growth. As I mentioned before, the IRIPs, the individualized reading plans, do begin as early as kindergarten and can continue up to third grade. Once your child is in third grade, what assessment will be used to flag your child for retention and what score would constitute more than one grade level behind at the end of third grade? The ELA, English Language Arts, MSTEP, from Michigan Our Michigan test that is given in the spring is what is used to determine whether or not your child would be flagged for retention in third grade. What happens if your child's reading does not improve with all of these supports put in place? Your child will take the M-STEP ELA in the spring of their third grade year. If your child scores one or more grade levels behind the third grade reading level, a notification would be generated for you and your child's school that your child may be retained. You will be notified of that by June 1st, as will the school. So your notification will come through the mail, and the school will also be notified by June 1st that your child scored below the level one or more grade levels behind on the ELA M-STEP. When you receive this notification, if you do not agree with the decision, you should request a meeting with the school within 30 days of receiving the notice regarding the potential retention. You may then file a good cause exemption. To find more information about the good cause exemption, please refer to Michigan Department of Ed, Facts for Families, What is a Good Cause Exemption, and the Read by Grade 3 Law. When will you find out if your child is being retained after you ask for a good cause exemption? The school needs to have a decision to you on retaining your child 30 days before the first day of school. The decision is made by the school principal and or the superintendent and is a final decision. So to summarize and review, all students in kindergarten through grade 3 are assessed within the first 30 days of school using an initial and an extensive screener. Students flagged as having a reading deficiency from these screeners will have an individualized reading improvement plan. These individualized reading improvement plans are revisited 3 times per year. So expect to be contacted by your child's teacher 3 times per year if your child has an IRIP. IRIPs do begin in kindergarten and continue through the third grade. The goal of the IRIP is to address the areas of deficit. And in third grade, students will take the ELA, Michigan's state test for educational progress, or student test of educational progress, excuse me. And that test will determine if your child may be retained. They may be retained if they are one or more grade levels behind the third grade reading level. If you have further questions about the third grade reading law, you may contact the Leonard Reading Specialist, Amanda Frucci, the E.E. Knight Reading Specialist, Katie Drayton, the E.E. Knight Principal, Alicia Ormsby, or you may also find additional information on Michigan Department of Education's website by searching the Read by Grade 3 Law.